Hey all, welcome to my Facebook Live October free virtual class for the orders that you placed with me in September. It is another lovely day here in Middle Tennessee. It is sunny. I don't see any clouds in the sky. Beautiful, crisp blue sky. Air is drier. We're supposed to have a high of 75 today. This is my kind of weather. It just makes me so happy. And if I haven't mentioned it before, I love October. That is my month to really enjoy the weather and just the time of year with the new holidays starting. I love it. Hi, Francis. I'm glad you found me. Everyone today is welcome to join me for this class. I would love if you hopped on and just spent some time with me, left your comments. But we will be putting together the cute little projects from the kits that you received if you ordered from me in September. Your order would have had to have been over $50, and then based on the amount you would have gotten the kits. And you should have received them by now. Most people have told me they've gotten them. If for some reason you haven't, it should be on its way. But if you ever want me to check and see what's happening, I can do that. Let me know. And yeah, they were all mailed out on time, so I think you probably have them. Also, if you cannot watch today for some reason, no problem. This video will remain here in the video section of my Crazy Stamping Lady page indefinitely for you to come back and watch it later. And after this is over, I will send out the link to everyone that earned a kit. Hi, Lenny. Glad you're watching. It is Monday, October 7th, 2024, and I am happy to be here with you. My name is Maureen Rolfes, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. Hi, Shar. I'm glad you are here. I have been an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 27 years, and I love what I do. If you are hopping on, please say hi and let me know that you're here. If you watch on the replay, let me know that also. Hi, Doris. Glad you're here with us. So, yeah, that is, I think, about that. Sorry, guys. I did not sleep great last night. I have junk in my eyes and a little bit of puffiness. My body is just falling apart. No, just aches and pains kept me awake. So sorry about that. And I'm glad you can't see my shirt because right before we came online, I spilled coffee all over. So the day is off to a wonderful start, but I am glad to be here with you. Also, if you can share my video to your homepage, to a crafty group, to a crafty friend, that helps me as a small businesswoman to get exposure otherwise I wouldn't have. So I appreciate that if you do that. Let's take you down to our table. I'm going to turn you around. Hi, Debbie. And you are going to see my beautiful outside. Just look at those skies. Ah, what a lovely day it's going to be. Makes me so happy. This is me, Maureen Rolfes, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. My blog is crazystampinglady.blogspot.com. My email is crazystampinglady@gmail.com. My Facebook is facebook.com/crazystampinglady. My YouTube is under my name, Maureen Rolfes, and you can shop with me at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net. My hostess code for the month of October is shown on the screen. Please take a screenshot of it if you want to keep it. It is also always posted under the Shop Now tab on my blog, as well as pinned to the top of my Crazy Stamping Lady Facebook page, and at the bottom of any emails I send out this month, and at the beginning of all of my videos. So you should be able to find it if you need it, but just taking a screenshot and keeping it is sometimes the easiest way. All right, let me get some of this stuff out here. So a couple things I want to go over with you, not much, but I wanted to point out, this is my free monthly virtual card class. I do one of these every single month. So this was for orders placed with me last month. If you order from me in the month of October using that hostess code, you will get a free kit from me. Place a $50 order and you'll get 3 free card kits in there. $75 order will get you those 3 free card kits plus a bonus project. $100 order will get you the card kits, a bonus project, plus a half a pack of an embellishment. Realize that almost all of these products are going to be retired, but they will be new, of course. And the embellishments can vary. It's whatever I have. So this month I sent out a ton of kits, and I think a couple different people got different embellishments. So I'm not even going to talk about which ones I sent out because you may have gotten something different, but it was at least a half a pack of an embellishment. Any smaller orders still receive a handmade card from me as a thank you every month, and all orders are entered into my monthly order prize drawing. So any order from you is greatly appreciated. Using the hostess code really helps me out. If your order is over $150 pre-shipping and handling and tax, then go ahead and order and don't use the code. I will still count it for all of these things. I just want you to earn the hostess benefits that you can earn in that case. My November class will be for kits earned in October. They'll get mailed by November 1st, and that class will be on Monday, November 11th. So I will share more of that throughout the month. But we have some fun news starting today. We have a 3-day stamp sale. And I am sorry getting this out so late. I'm going to try to get an email out. I had hoped to do it yesterday, but we ended up spending just a wonderful day with my daughter and her family. And it went way longer than we expected. And we didn't get home until way later than we thought. So it didn't get done. But you know what? Any day with family is a good day. So I am not going to complain about that. But we have a stamp sale. This stamp sale happens once a year, only once a year. It is a 3-day sale. It is a 15% discount on all stamp sets, either photopolymer or cling from the annual catalog. So this doesn't pertain to the fall catalog, just the annual catalog, but it's every single stamp. Now it's not included in the bundle. So if you buy the bundle, you're going to get the bundle price. But if you just want the stamp set in any bundle, you're going to be able to do that at the 15% off. And all stamp sets are available while supplies last. That's just the way our sales run. So this starts today and it goes through Wednesday. Get out your annual catalog. Look and see if there were any stamps that you still really wanted to get, and get them during this 3-day sale at 15% off. And if you were a part of Saturday's World Card Making Day event from Stampin' Up! And you registered ahead of time, you should have received an email afterward with a coupon code that you can get $5 off your next order this month. So go ahead and order this and then use that coupon code and get that extra $5 off. Deal, deal, deal. Mini catalog is still going strong, guys. There is so many wonderful things in here, and just watch my videos. I will be sharing so much more with you soon. And then our annual catalog. This is where the sale is going on. Every single stamp set in this catalog is now 15% off for the next 3 days. I own most stamp sets that I want out of here because I don't stick around to wait to get them. But I'm going to go back through just in case there was one I was on the fence about and get it at that 15% off if I can. It also includes, like I said, all of the stamp sets that are part of a bundle. But if you order the bundle, you're just going to get the 10% bundle price, which is fine. That's a great deal because you're getting 10% on each part. But if you only want the stamp set, now is the time to do it and get the 15% off. All right, let's make some fun projects, guys. So this is our first card that we're making right here. I'm going to move my little thing over. Now remember, you may have some different papers in yours. That happens because I'm using what I have until I run out, and then I go to another design. I think these designs are what were in most of your kits, but the card I'm going to be making with you today has the second design paper that I brought out. So possible that you got this one or even a different one, but it would have been in the same color scheme. Make sure you check your envelopes and get all your little pieces out because I put everything in there, and this time there is a little piece of ribbon in there. There should be 3 of these little rhinestone gems in there, and then all of these pieces in front of you. So if you want to craft with me, grab that kit. Excuse me, if you're going to do it later, that is fine too. All of my class cards for this free class are pretty simple and easy, so they're easy to come back and put together, or for you to adapt with whatever papers you might have on hand. So we are going to start out and make sure that my card opens the right way. Did you see that? I almost did it upside down, which would not have been the first time. I'm going to grab my piece of Night of Navy. So this is 3/4 tall by 4.5 wide, and my card base is just a regular A2 card base. An A2 card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So if you're wondering what those measurements are, I do not put out a printed tutorial for this, so I'll try to give you the measurements as I go. If I miss any, please let me know and I can put them in the comments for you. Okay, so that is Night of Navy, 3.25 by 4.5. And then I have a piece of Retired Designer Series paper. I don't know what the name of this was. I, for some reason, used to just cut my pieces and not keep track. Now I do, so in the future, if it's ones I've cut more recently, I put the name on the package, but I didn't on here. This piece of Designer Series paper is 3 inches by 4.25, and I corner rounded 2 ends just to give it a little bit of character. We do not currently have a corner rounder, I don't think, but I keep some of my retired stuff, so I have the Detailed Trio punch. If you still have that, that does have a corner rounder on. If you have our envelope maker, that has a corner rounder on. And throughout the years, we've sold several corner rounder punches. So you might have one so you can duplicate, but if you don't, you could just have all of your corners squared off. Would not be a big deal at all. So we're just going to lay this piece using some seal. And you can use either side. If you want that side, go ahead and use it. I like the side that has the foiling, just to give it a little glimmer and glitz. But sometimes the other side is what you want. So these are your cards. Make them the way you like. Okay, so there is that flower. And then I cut another strip that is 1 inch by 4 inches. And I think everyone got this same design. You could use the blue, which actually looks really nice. Let me see if I like that better than the pink. I might like that better than the pink on here. On this one, I also corner rounded 2 of the corners. And like I said, it was 1 inch by 4 inches to start. What do you think, guys? I honestly think I'm going to use the blue one on here. I wasn't expecting to do that, but that's what I said. Sometimes you just like the other one better. And I like the way that blue really contrasts against the pinks. So I'm going to come over, maybe leaving about 1/2 inch of the floral image showing here, and just lay that layer right on there vertically. Now, sometimes when I cut the pieces, your lines could go horizontally, so you may not like that as well. Then go ahead and use the other side, whatever works for you. The next thing we're going to do is put our sentiment on here. Now, I cannot stamp your sentiments, so you're going to have to find a sentiment that you want to use on your card. For mine, I am using the sentiment from the Country Birdhouse set that says, "Hoping you have the best day ever." And I just love that sentiment, such a general sentiment. This could be a thinking of you card, a birthday card, a miss you card, any kind of card that you would like it to be. I am going to put this a little bit over to the left side, just leaving a little bit of a border on the left, and you'll see why in just a second. I'm pretty sure I didn't cut these for you because some things I know you can do just as well as I can. So I stamped the image, and then I'm going to take my snips, and I'm going to just cut this at an angle pretty close to where the bottom of this sentiment is, okay? And again, just to give it a little more character, that angle on there. And then I'm going to take this copper piece and we're going to lay it underneath there. So for that, I'm just going to take my seal and run it along. I don't know if this is going to go all the way to the end, so I'm going to stop a little short of the end, just in case it doesn't, not that it probably really matters. We're going to lay this onto the copper, and I'm going to leave a border on the left and a border underneath of the copper showing, just like that to make that sentiment pop just a little bit. And then we're going to take that piece of blue ribbon. Now this was our retired thin white linen ribbon that we had, not linen, what was it called? Seam binding ribbon that we had. And I just colored it using the Night of Navy blend. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to fold it in half so that it kind of has these two ends just kind of sticking out at different directions. So you're just kind of making a little bit of a V with it. And then I'm going to come in here and I am going to place a glue dot. And I'm going to try to place the glue dot so that it covers both pieces and kind of holds them together. Let me see if I can pull that off and show you. So that glue dot now is going on that V, but it's hitting both of the pieces of seam binding. And we're going to add this to the end of our sentiment. So I'm just going to come in here right above that coppery part and stick that on there. And then if you want to take a scissors and snip your ends at an angle, you can. If you want to leave them just squared off, that works too. I don't think there's really a lot of difference in the look. And then this is going to get popped up on dimensionals. So I know I have a few things of dimensionals to use up. Usually when I pop them up on dimensionals, I try to anchor any kind of ribbon or any pieces where they're coming together with those dimensionals. So these are just edges I've cut. I'll come in and place those two. Let's see what else I have going on over here for dimensionals. I have lots of mini dimensionals hanging out today for some reason. Lots and lots of mini. We may end up using those if I can't find my regular size. Wow, lots and lots of mini dimensionals. How does that happen? Huh, I must have just bought a new pack. Anyway, I have some dimensionals in here, so let's just pull these out. We'll use these. And we're going to add one more right in the middle of this, just so that it stands up nicely on the card. And we're going to place this sentiment. And I placed it so that this edge here with the copper was just about even with the patterned paper. Trying to get it as straight as I can and place it down on there. And that has the sentiment hanging out a bit over the edge like that. And then we're going to grab my snips again, wherever I place them, and just put these gems on here. So we have one gem right here and one up here. And these are the smallest size of the gems. They're my favorite. They go through the mail really well, which I love. So they should be fine on your card. All right, guys. And then if you want to, you can stamp your envelope. So since I have my ink and my stamp right here, I'm going to do that right away so I don't have to remember to come back and do it later. And I am just adding my same sentiment to the envelope, which, since we're really only stamping sentiments on the cards in my kits, that is what I usually do. Because we can't stamp images, I try to keep the stamping to the bare minimum. So that's our card, guys. This is the one we made today. This is another one that I made earlier when I was making your kits. Make them how you like. Use the size of the paper that you like. You have options. How cool is that? Card number 1 is done. Card number 2. This is the card that we're making. Let me get my little instructions out here so I can give you the measurements as we go. So this is happy birthday on my end, although you wouldn't have to have it a happy birthday. But with the little gift pack on there, I think it leans itself toward that kind of card. And we have lots of happy birthday sentiments, so I'm sure you have one. Even if you don't have the one I'm using, make sure you get, again, you get all your little pieces out, including the little sequins. Now your sequins could be a different color. I had orange ones, yellow ones, and green ones. So there's a possibility your kit had a different color, but it will be a color that matches what is on the gift. And here is our envelope. Okay, so for this one, Let me get my mind wrapped around what I'm doing here. Actually, I'll show you that in a minute. I'm just going to set this here. So for this one, we are using another A2 base. So it's the same basic white base that is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. I then took a piece of basic white that was 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I embossed it using the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. Now, hopefully yours are fully embossed. I kept this one because I was off a little bit when I embossed it, and I don't think it's going to matter or anyone's going to know because we're actually layering it white on white just like that. So I don't think it's a big deal, but I wanted to let you know that I was off a little bit on mine when you see it. Yours should be fine. Hopefully I didn't miss any that weren't. And we're just going to add this to the back of this card. For some reason, our city sirens are going off like they do for a tornado warning, but there's definitely no tornado out there. So I'm not sure. It might just be a test. That's very possible. The university and city downtown are really close to where we live. So we always hear those when they go off, the tests that they make. Let's see, I think I'm going to do it this way with this side. So you're just going to layer that piece on here, right, white on white. I did use seal all around the edge because I wanted it to lay down nicely, and it is a 3D folder I was using. So next we're going to make our little gift, and you should have a piece of cardstock. And this cardstock is basic white 3x3, so it doesn't really matter which way it goes. And then you're going to have 5 strips of designer series paper, and these are 5/8 inches wide by 3 1/4 inches long. And you can see they have small circles on one side and large circles on the other. When I did my card, you're going to have 2 pieces most likely that are the same color, another 2 pieces that are the same color, and 1 that is different. So the way I made my card, and again, you do not have to, but I'm going to show you, is I lined them up with the small circles of one of the colors that I had 2 of, then the large circle of one of the colors that I had 2 of, then the small circle of the color that was alone. So you can see it's different than this one. This one had 2 greens, 2 yellows, and 1 orange. This one has 2 oranges, 2 greens, and 1 yellow. So, and then the large circle of whatever I started with, and the small of what the second was. So my colors just kind of go in an order, and I'm going small, large, small, large, small with my polka dots on there. So that's how I'm going to put them on to my cardstock. On this cardstock, I am just going to take my seal and I'm going to go across it like 4 different places to make this base here sticky, okay? So I'm just going across. I want to be sure I've covered all of it with some of that sticky seal, and it is sticky. And then we're going to take our very first strip, and I am going to lay it up in this corner. So I'm going to lay the top corner so it matches, and the sides so it matches all the way down, taking my time laying it down just like that. Now this is going to stick over the bottom a bit. Don't worry about it, okay? Just don't even worry about it. Just go to your next strip, lay it at the top, and butt it up right next to that first one. And then your next one, and do the same thing, butt it right up to that last one. And we're just forming the base of this gift package, which I love. Now you're going to see in a minute. Don't push it down or stick it down until you've got it exactly how you want it, guys. Seal is a little forgiving if you don't push it down, but once you adhere it well, it's hard to get up. So don't push it down till you're ready. Now this last one's going to hang over the edge here too, and I'm going to tell you why I did it this way in just a second here, but I'm just doing the same thing. So now this is all very well adhered on here. Originally I made a larger white square so that I wouldn't have these overhangs, but it was much more difficult because afterwards, some of them didn't quite make it just because of human error in cutting, and I had to trim things up. So we're just going to go with this. Nobody's going to flip this over or know that those edges hang over. So this way was the easiest to me to give you no problems in putting it together. And I hope that makes sense for you. So to the back of this gift now, we're just going to add some dimensionals. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to put a dimensional down here toward the bottom and let it overlap those overhanging pieces a little bit. And this one too over here, just to kind of anchor them in place. And then one up here and here. And one in the middle should do it. So we're going to put our dimensionals on there, pull off these backings, just like that. And then we're going to place this onto our card. And what you want to do is put it up, I would say maybe about a 1/2 inch, so that about a 1/2 inch of the plaid is showing underneath it. And then center it side to side. Just like that. And then we're going to stamp our sentiments. So in your kit, you should have this die cut sentiment layer. And this was the smallest die out of the Countryside Corners die set. So if you're looking to repeat that same one, that is what it is from. And we're going to use the Happy Birthday that comes from the Round We Go stamp set. So it fit perfectly, and that is why I'm using it. And I'm going to stamp it with Old Olive ink. Let me get these little pieces off here because I think I'm going to stamp my envelope right away too while I have it here. So, so Happy Birthday in Old Olive. My Old Olive is getting a little dry. I probably should have re-inked it, and I did not. Now this Happy Birthday just fits on here, side to side, and then centered top to bottom, which to me is fine that it just fits. I kind of like that. And then we're going to take the Happy Birthday and also put it onto our envelope. Just like that. And I guess I'll put this here, but we're going to move these out of the way for now. And then we're going to take our Happy Birthday and put some seal on the back of it. And I just kind of layered this right in the middle of my birthday gift. Just like that. And then in your kit, you should have a little bow. This is a retired Old Olive ribbon that we had, and I pre-tied your bow for you. So all you need to do is grab a glue dot, push it down on the back of that bow, and add this bow to the center at the top of your gift. So it's going to go right on the gift at the center at the very top, just like that. And then you also should have 3 sequins. Like I mentioned, they could be orange, or they could be green, or they could be yellow. I'm just going to take the largest one that I have here and place it right here onto my white plaid layer. And one of the smaller ones over here to the left of it. And then the other smaller one over here to the right, but down even a little bit more than that one. So right on that plaid. All right, guys, that is card number 2. So again, you can see this one I just finished. This one I did ahead of time. The only thing different is the order that the strips are on my card. And that is it. So yay, 2 cards down, yay, yay, yay. All right, let's go to our card number 3. So our card number 3 is a Christmas card. And for this, I used the stack, cut, and shuffle technique for getting your layers. So what that means is I stacked 4 sheets of Designer Series paper that were, one was this green color, one was this red print, one was this red print, and one was this striped print. Just stacked them on top of each other. And that started out at, let me figure it out because I didn't write that down. So this was 4 1/4, this is 4. It started out at 3 3/4 by 5 inches, those 4 sheets. Stacked them up, and then I cut them apart. I cut at 2 1/2 inches. And then I cut down on this side at 2 3/4 inches and down on this side at 1 3/4 inches. So now I have 4 sheets of paper cut exactly the same, and I just rotated the papers so each of yours has one size of each of them. So you're going to have the same patterns in your pack, but they may be in a little different order. And let me show you that. So here is my kit. Let's pull this one out and all the little pieces. So this one does have a little gem in there. It has a tiny Christmas tree and a little bow. And then your other layers. But then it has these 4 layers right here. Let me grab the other one. It's stuck under here. I know it's in here. So you can see now on mine that the layers are going to be just a little bit different than they were on this card. So what you want to do is you want to find the 2 that match for the left side. So on this case, what I had on the bottom here is my pattern at the top on this one. And then you want to find the 2 on the right that match in size. Well, that's not right. Oh, that is right. It has to go that way. So just turn them till they match. It's like a little bit of a puzzle. But once you get it, it'll make total sense. And you're forming that rectangle. Hopefully that is not too confusing. But this is a fun way to do a lot of cards quickly. The same. The only thing that's changing is the order of the patterns. So then you're going to have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla. These are 4 inches by 5 1/4. One of them is going to go on the inside of the card. So I'm just going to put that in there right away. You can stamp a sentiment on it if you like. You know I can't do the stamping for you. And I probably will come back and stamp a sentiment on the inside. But we're going to add that because the Cherry Cobbler base is an A2 base, but it's a little dark for writing on. So I wanted you to have an area you could write on your card. Then for the outside, I'm going to take my other piece of Very Vanilla, and starting with my upper left-hand corner piece, I'm just going to put some seal on there. Now some of these do have a pattern that matters the direction, so this is one that does. And we're going to lay this, and we're going to lay it so it just has about 1/8 of an inch of a border around. So it's just our normal border down. If for some reason you put it too far in and it looked funny, you could always trim off excess to make it match. But if you just do that little bit of a border, I think you're going to be fine. Then I'm going to use my bottom left-hand piece. And again, you can use either side of these. If you want to use a blue side up, go ahead and do it, guys. And we're just going to match this one. So this one's going to match up right to there and down. Now you're going to see on mine, this one here, I did leave a little, too little border, but I am not going to worry about it at all. It is just going to have a little bit wider edge at the bottom, and I don't think it's going to matter because people are going to get this Christmas card and they're going to be looking at it and thinking it's just beautiful. And then we're going to use our next piece. So this is the top right piece, and I'm going to line that up so it matches at the top. Just like that. And then we're going to use our last one. So you have the same 4 patterns to work with, but they may be on your card in a different order. And of course, you could use the back side if you wanted to. So just come in and scoot this one up so it meets the other one. And you should have formed your rectangle of images on the front of your card. Okay? And then we can just lay this. I might as well just attach it right now and be done with that part. So put our seal on here. And we're going to come on here. Oops, and just kind of center that. Like that. Okay, so then the next thing we want to do is add our little banner. So you should have a banner that I pre-flagged for you in your kit, and this is going to go on the front of your card. There's also a tiny piece of Old Olive. So this piece of Old Olive is 1/2 inch by 2 inches, And the tag was very vanilla, and it was 2 by 4 inches, and then I just cut a flag at the bottom of it for you. And we're just going to come in with our seal on this old olive strip. And I'm going to add this right at the top. Now, hopefully it's the exact right width, but if it's a little too long, let it overlap on each side. And if it's a little too short, center it so you have a little white on each edge. It's not going to matter. So that is going to be that. Now, we're going to be adding this little tree to that tag. So I'm going to place that about where I want it, maybe 1/4 inch to 3/8 inches down from the top. And then I'm going to do my sentiment underneath it. So for this tag, I am using the Season's Greetings. And this is from the Greetings of the Season stamp set, which I love. And if you watch my videos, you've seen me use it before. In fact, I probably will add one of these 2 sentiments to the inside when I'm done. May your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration, or it's the most wonderful time of the year. I love both of those. So one will probably go in the middle of my card eventually, but since I can't stamp for you, I'm not going to do that today. But we are going to add our Season's Greetings just so you can see where I placed it. And I just placed it on my tag, trying to keep it straight, centering it side to side like that. How cool is that? And I think I mentioned I used cherry cobbler for that because that matches our paper. Okay, and then let me grab these little pieces. Actually, before I even do that, I'm going to stamp my envelope. I don't know why I don't think of that while it's sitting right here, but I don't always. But I want to do it now because, like I said before, I hate having to get out the things that I had out after I put them away because I forgot to do it. So I'm just going to do it now. So there's our Season's Greetings on the envelope. We'll move this aside for now. And then we're going to put our card together. So I'm going to take this tag. And I'm not going to pop it up or anything because we're going to pop our tree up, and I didn't want too many things dimensional on it. So we're just going to take our seal and we're going to add this to the front of our card. And I am just kind of centering it, bringing it down maybe 1/4 inch from the top, but centering it so that that flagged end is centered right on the seam where those 2 colors come together, and trying to keep it pretty straight, which I didn't do really well. So let's try that one more time. Do it from this direction so I can keep it straighter along this edge. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. You already saw I left too much down here, but I really don't worry about things like that. As long as your card looks clean and put together, they know you thought of them and you took the time to do this, and that means a lot. Then we're going to take our little bow that I pre-tied for you using our red and white linen thread, and I'm just going to put a dab right in the center of this olive layer here. You don't need a lot. And I'm going to lay down that bow right on top of there. And I am going to grab a block, you've seen me do this many times, to just kind of sit on there and hold it in place. And that just helps it to adhere a little bit better. And then we're going to take our tree and grab a dimensional for the back of that. Just place it right in the middle there and peel off the backing. And then I'm going to move this now because I think that is adhered fine. And we're going to put our tree just somewhere between that Season's Greeting and your bow, basically. Somewhere between there and the top of your card. Then you should have a little gem. I think these gems actually were left over from an old paper pumpkin kit. But I had 2 packs of them, so I had plenty to use for my cards. So I thought these would be great. They're that little yellow circle. And we're just going to place that right at the top of our Christmas tree. Just like that. So there is that card, guys. Card number 3. All done. Same exact card. Just the papers in a little bit different order on my card, if that makes sense for you. All right. Let's get those out of the way. So that is what you would have gotten with a $50 order. You would have gotten those 3 card kits. The kits are similar every month, different designs, but similar in the amount of work that we put into them. They come together pretty easy. I try to prep as much of it as I can for you. So that was card number 3. Okay, so now If you spent $75, you would have gotten a little bonus kit from me. And let me get out those pieces for that. Okay, so in your bonus kit, whoops, you would have gotten one of these little star cut bags that we had last year, I think a year ago, maybe 2 years ago in our catalog. A piece of, help me out guys, what color am I using here? Why can't I think of this color? I should know. Peach pie. I don't know why that was totally out of my brain. A piece of peach pie that is 3 1/4 inches wide by 5 inches long. Another piece of peach pie that is 1 inch by 3 3/4. I punched out a white oval using the modern oval punch, and then I punched out 2 white circles, and these were actually die cut. I tried to use my hole punch, and it was just a little tiny, although it would have worked. But instead, I went with these 2, and these were out of the Country Birdhouse dies. But if you don't have that, you can duplicate this just using a hole punch and punching out 2 circles out of black. So those are our pieces. The first thing we're going to do is come in and add this piece of peach pie to the inside of our little bag. So I'm going to open this up so that you can see those stars. Now these make great luminaries. If you don't want to put this inside, you could actually put a little tea light candle, an electric one, you know, or battery operated one inside of there and let that shine out through those. But for mine, I wanted to put the paper inside. So I'm going to use my glue dots, and on the 2 top corners, doesn't matter which side because it's the same on each side, on the 2 top corners, I'm just going to put a glue dot pretty close to the corners and pretty close to the top. And then I'm going to slide this piece of peach pie inside of there, right behind those stars, all the way to the bottom. And then I have my glue dots facing up toward the outside of this bag, and I'm just going to push them down. And that's going to adhere that in the center and show those beautiful stars shining through on here. So now, just for ease, I'm going to fold it up again so it's flat as I'm working on it. The next thing I'm going to do is take that piece of peach pie that was 1 inch by 3 3/4, and we're going to stamp Trick or Treat on it. Now again, you have to find your own sentiment. You could use any Halloween sentiment that you have. I chose this one out of the Halloween Memories set, which is an online exclusive in our memory keeping, because I liked how large these sentiments were. So I could have done Spooky Fun. I could have done Good Times for what it matters, or Wickedly Good Times. I mean, there's things you could have done, but I just chose to use the Trick or Treat because I like that. I am going to ink that up using my Memento ink. Now, if you do not have a huge sentiment like this, which is possible, I don't have a ton of really big ones like this, you could use a smaller sentiment, and I will show you how I would do that if I was going to do it. Let me just get this on here. Trick or Treat. Look how cool that looks and how big that is. I just love it. So this is going to go onto our treat bag, just like it is on here. If I was using a smaller sentiment, I would probably do it to the right or to the left, and then when I do my ghost, come in and lay it over the banner so that it looks like that sentiment was just to the right or left of the ghost. But because I'm doing it, the big sentiment, I'm going to use the ghost down lower. So we're just going to add this to the front of our bag with some seal. And I'm going to come here and just kind of lay it at an angle, and it does go off the edges, but doesn't really matter. I'm going to give this most likely to my grandkids, filled with some treats. So there it is like that. Now here's where you have a choice. You could leave your ghost just like this and not do anything with it. You could zigzag cut the bottom of it. You can do what you want. I chose on one side to kind of just make a little rounded back and forth. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go up and then down, like this was a flowing little kind of sheet on him as he flew through your house. There's no right or wrong to this. Every time you do it, it'll probably be a little bit different. But I just kind of rounded those corners and went back and forth to get my little ghost, okay? And then I'm gonna take the two eyes and I'm just gonna put a glue dot on the back of each one of them. One. I'll just do both of them right away and then I can take them off and place them. Two, like that. And you're gonna place these on to your ghost. So I'm just gonna come up here and do one and two for my little ghost eyes. Okay, now if you wanna leave it like that, go ahead and leave it like that and just add them. You can definitely see that's supposed to be a ghost, but I wanted to add a face. So on this one, I did a little smiling face. To add that, I am going to use my black Stampin' Write marker. You could use a black pen or any kind of felt pen that you have. So don't feel like you have to have this to be able to make a funny little face on your ghost. And on this ghost, I'm going to try a different face. On there, I did a smile. On this one, I think I'm going to do kind of a little goofy face here. So we're going to do this and then come down here like that and just color them in. Okay, yeah, that's cute too. Okay, so that is this ghost. I did go and find just a couple different faces, so you could just do a big kind of an O for the mouth and fill it in. You could do the one I did here like that, or the smiley face, or a wiggle woggle, or an upside down frown. There's lots of different faces you can put on your ghost if you want to, or like I said, you can leave him with no face at all. And now we're gonna pop this guy up on some dimensionals, which I don't know how I keep losing them, but I do. Here they are. And I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. Like that. And then I'm going to place him over here to the side, just underneath my trick or treat. Okay? So that is the little bonus project that you got if you place a $75 order. And then obviously this opens up and you can fill it full of wonderful treats for someone special in your life. There is lots of room going on in here, guys. Lots of room. So lots of good treats can go in there. So like I said, this is at least my local grandkids will probably get this. I will send something off to the ones in West Virginia, but the local one. So pretty cute, huh? And you can see how it's different every time you do it, so you can make it however you want. So that was our bonus project for a $75 order. Now, if you placed a $100 order, like I mentioned earlier, you would have gotten the 3 cards, this bonus project, and a half a package of an embellishment in your kit. And that half a pack of embellishment would have been right in the envelope with this little project. So pretty easy to find. And I so appreciate that. And that way, hopefully you're building up some great embellishment stash. I have several of you have doing a $100 order every month to get that. And then you have a wide variety of embellishments because I'm trying to send out different ones every month. At some point there might be repeats and I apologize, but that is just the nature of the beast here. But yeah, so thank you so much for taking your time with me today. Thank you for ordering last month. If you enjoyed today's class, just be sure to order from me in the month of October. An order of at least $50 using my current hostess code will get you a kit for the November class. I'm sure you will love it. As always, I would love to be your creative coach and demonstrator if you have any questions at all. If you need a catalog, if you want to find out more about purchasing to get a free kit, or anything else about Stampin' Up!, please reach out to me in the comments of this video or by email at crazystampinglady@gmail.com. Don't forget, in fact, you know, I'm going to bring these cards in and put all the projects out while I'm talking. Don't forget that we have our 15% off all stamps in the annual catalog sale going on. And again, that is today and tomorrow and Wednesday. And that only happens once a year. So take advantage of it if there are sets out there that you still want to get out of the annual catalog. I'm just going to bring these all in, bring them down a little bit so you can see them all. So these are the projects we made in today's class. I hope you liked them. Hey guys, have a great day, a great week ahead. I will be on here tomorrow morning at 10:30 Central Time at my normal slot for my regular Facebook Live, and I hope to see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.